Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SuperCoach Edge and another edition of Friday Knockoffs. And just first up, thank you so much for your patience. Of course, if you had joined us and you'd seen in the chat, I mentioned that my son, who's nearly 10 months old, awoke and was keen for a feed. So who am I to begrudge him and deny him that option? So quickly gave him a feed and he's back asleep now, hopefully. But we'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, knock on wood, he doesn't disrupt the stream. But I'm sure when he gets older, he'll be keen to jump on the stream. That's for sure. So he'll be appreciative when he's a little bit older. But ladies and gents, thanks as always for tuning in. And again, we still have 8 people in the chat. It is a little bit later in terms of the start time, so apologies once again for that. But keen to have you, and let us know your thoughts, plans heading into round 3, whether or not you had any players in tonight's game between the Crows and the Cats. I know there are a few people out there that traded in Holmes, which would have been a nice move. I'm a big fan of his, and he just runs all day. He's one of the best endurance athletes out there in the AFL at the moment, and yeah, I mean, he's the sort of guy that doesn't get stuck on the bench, which is always a good thing, especially when it comes to SuperCoach, of course, maximise the amount of points that you get on field. But yeah, as always, any comments, questions, feel free to flick them into the comments, into the live chat. And if you are tuning in post live and you're watching this on replay, feel free as well to get involved in the comment section down below. Of course, we have the I'm the Captain Now captaincy video to go up as well, which will be going live tomorrow morning, about mid-morning. So check that out. I mean, it was no real bearing on tonight's game. There weren't any players that I was keen on for the VC or the C, so I figured there's no use in rushing it out and doing a bit of an injustice to the analysis and data and research and all that sort of stuff. So that will be out tomorrow morning, so look out for that. But let us know your early thoughts as well. I mean, imagine a lot of people out there would be keen to be jumping on Cherry as the C or the VC, depending on, I guess, other options outside of Cherry. It seems as though Cherry is the best option yet, but there are actually, outside of him, a couple of really decent options, 2 of which are Butters and Luke Jackson. Both great matchups, but also some really good form historically against both of their opponents. So look out again for the I'm the Captain Now video or audio podcast if you are tuning in post live. Check out for that and yeah, give it a look. Let's go through the comments, and we'll go through as well. We might pop up on screen whilst we are doing that the scores from tonight's game and have a bit of a quick recap on that. There we are, Cats and Crows. So it was Geelong prevailing by 8 points. It was actually, a bit more narrow the margin compared to what I thought it would be, by 8 points, 9-14-68 to the Crows 9-6-60. Let us go through the comments. So first up, we have Grampians FPV 1998 says Father of the Year. Well, if they had an award for that, which I don't think they do, I don't think I'd be getting that. But thank you nonetheless, mate. Very kind of you. It's just, you've got to do what you can do as a dad. If you are one, you'd understand. And yeah, everything else kind of gets pushed to the side. And it's that stage of life. You've got to be very selfless. There's a lot of learnings and stuff about fatherhood as well, which is a good thing. But hopefully you've learned that before you become a father. But thank you nonetheless, Gramps, if I can call you that. The Asian Supercoacher. Is this Sam Pang? Track and Rosie for 2% pod owners in Holmes and Stewart. Good start to the round. Top 500 at the moment. Looking to get into the top 100. Fingers crossed. Well done, mate. You've done very well. Holmes, I'm a massive fan of, as I said. But Tom Stewart, he's kind of, he's the old breed almost. But he gets the job done nonetheless. So, yeah, he's definitely a pod. And, yeah, I mean, just look at the quick scores here. And actually, sorry, I was on the wrong tab. I was on 2 tabs. There we go, because it opens up as a separate tab when you click on the game. So Stewart's got 120, I should say. Holmes with the 121. And he was everywhere, Holmesy. He was actually off for a portion of the second or third quarter. And I know some people on socials were a bit worried that he may have been injured because he went downstairs with the trainer, but I wonder if he just needs to take a shit. I saw someone make a comment that he was pushing out a mud snake, they called it, which I'd never heard in my 37 years of being on Earth, which is incredible. So yeah, it was a nice use of terminology there, but maybe so. And he came back and absolutely smashed it. So bit of weight lost, and so to speak, and got the job done. Sean Matter with 119, interesting. Grind Myers, I don't know for those of you out there tuning in, watch the game, but Grind Myers, did he actually just forget which way the Cats were kicking? Because he got given the ball and turned in the opposite direction, and then just turned it straight over to Adelaide. So it was just a weird. That was a bit of play sort of midway through, or sort of towards the back end of the last quarter. Connor O'Sullivan with a 106, the rookie dynamo from last year. Shannon Neal with 15 hitouts, didn't kick a goal. And speaking of which, let's just go down. Jezza Cameron, 2 behinds, craziness. Ollie Henry with 1 goal. Outside of that, Ollie Dempsey 96, Sam DeConning 87, full game in defence. And for the Crows, Josh Rosselli, so those people that started with him would have been happy with his return of 127. Played in the midfield and up forward as well, and 31 disposals. I actually traded him into my AFL fantasy team and was a bit bummed last week because I think he scored around about 70. But yeah, definitely bounced back this week. So happy as a fantasy owner, but yeah, would have loved to have had him in SuperCoach. So let us know if you are an owner of his in the chat. Josh Worrell, a lot of people jumped on him. 97 from 30 disposals, so he definitely got his hands in the footy. Time on ground was to the tune of 85%, so it wasn't really managed like I thought he might be off the back of that sort of calf niggle. But he had that heavily strapped and looked worrying, but moved quite well. Peatling with an 86, which I'm happy with because he's in my draft team. My keeper league, I should say. I've had him for 3 seasons now. Bit of a James Bond, 84. Hugh Bond. Who are you, mate? There you go, 84. One to keep watch on. Sam Berry with an 81. Nick Murray with an 80, which is also interesting. And how about the man here in Braden Cook? Braden, let him, which is his nickname, let him cook. I think he only scored around about -1 or something in the last quarter. He actually sputtered it up, believe it or not. And I think I put the moz on him because I made a tweet saying, how about Braden let him cook? And yeah, -1 in the last quarter. But across the first 3 quarters, smashed it. So he scored around about 20 to 30 points, more than what I thought he would. So happy with that. Thilthorpe, 71 for anyone out there that has him. McAndrew with a 68, which I'm annoyed with because I had to play him on field to cover English. And if you'd seen my Damo's team talk, you would have seen my plans were bringing Cherry into my team, into the flex via Petrarca. And that's relegated McAndrew to the R3 position when we go back to full, rounds, no more players on buys. And seeing this score tonight kind of gives me a little bit of confidence because I was awfully worried in having McAndrew at R3. I thought it might have been an awful waste having his scores on the bench and not being able to loop them on, given I've got Jackson and English in R1 and R2. He had 40 hitouts, so it was quite dominant in that sense there, but only 8 hitouts to advantage. So hence the reason why he scored well in AFL Fantasy and not so much in SuperCoach. And disposal efficiency-wise was pretty poor, 65%. Outside of that, anyone that went for Wayne Miller, 57. I know the Scottfather did, and he'd be kicking himself. But it just goes to show data and stats historically for a player go a long, long way to sort of giving you a snapshot of what could possibly come for the rest of the season. And Wayne Miller hasn't, I think, averaged beyond a 75 or maybe an 80 at most in like one season. So the first couple of big scores that he had were out of the box and anomalies now. So yeah, be spewing if you got on him. You'd just be hoping that he turns it around, but a 57 just isn't good enough. But in context of all that, I mean, there were quite a number of players here that had lowish scores. I mean, Tannen Bruny is one of those with a 47. But it was trying conditions, especially I think it was started raining and pelting down in the third quarter. So at least for a half of footy, it was really trying conditions and hard to play any clean, skilled type game. So the disposal efficiency side of things kind of was lacking. And yeah, hence the reason why you see quite a number of plays in the 60% disposal efficiency and whatnot. So let's continue on with the comments. And Corey, how are you, mate? So I went Murphy Reed over Cook, as didn't want heaps of cash in my bank. Was either Myers or Reed this week. Interesting theory that. Well, because I've got around about $1 million in my bank at the moment. Not too phased with it because I'll use it this coming round on either Houston or someone else that pops up, or just do an early upgrade to maybe a premium. But Murphy Reed is definitely someone I think is a smoky for the top 6 spot up forward. He's getting time in the middle, which I thought probably may not have been on the cards until 2027. So the fact it's happened this year is ahead of schedule for me anyway, my expectations. And it looks as though he's adapted quite well. I mean, he's in his under 18s year, really good ball winner and great user of the footy. So really is translating already over to senior level for Freo. So I like him as a pick, mate. More so than Myers, anyway. We have Jonas, of course. Thanks for joining us, mate. So I wanted to bring Holmes in, but am still waiting on Lindsay to Houston if Lindsay is not picked. If Lindsay gets a game, no point trading him. Exactly right. And there were a few people last week asking me the question whether or not they should get rid of Lindsay. And I said no, because he will be back in the West Coast team. He's, again, I think rated the best disposer in terms of disposal efficiency in his draft year. And it's just a matter of West Coast not wanting to burn him out. He may have potentially not played to the game plan, all that sort of stuff we don't know behind the scenes, but he'll be back in the team. He's too skilled a youngster to not play for West Coast. It's bottom table team after all, and they're not flushed with talent outside of a couple of players there. They've got some good talent coming through in terms of the youngsters here and there. But yeah, it was just a bit of a crazy idea, I think, for people to be trading him out so soon, especially not having increased in cash at all. So yeah, I'll be keeping him even if he doesn't get a game. But I do understand your thinking there, Jonas, by going him up to Houston as sort of that stepping stone. Rankin not worth trading in at any price the way he looked, no matter how cheap. Yeah, I think, again, conditions probably didn't suit him. He's probably one of those players that relies on dry footy and, in order to do his thing and, be a bit more skillful. He's not the sort of bash and crash type player. But to that token, I think as well, I agree, because I owned him last year, maybe the year before as well from memory, and he did frustrate me because, he had those games where he just went missing. And unless the Crows are actually on top of the game, I don't want to call him a downhill skier, but he's kind of someone that goes along with the ride. Like if everyone else is up and about, he kind of is. He is the barometer, like he can be. We know that we can be a match winner, but I think more often than not, he can fall into that trap of just disappearing when the Crows need him. And the other players potentially aren't pulling their own weight. So for me, he's not going to be a must-have trade-in at the moment. And yeah, we'll just wait back and see how much he drops in price, really, which he kind of should now off the back of a score of 34. It is ads, the number one ticket holder. How are you, mate? McAndrew was all over the screen, it seemed, but SuperCoach score doesn't show it. Yeah, like I just said, mate, it's AFL fantasy-wise, he got his hands on the footy, he got those raw hit-outs, but outside of that, he didn't do too much because hit-outs to advantage, SuperCoach-wise, he just sputtered it, really. It just 8 hit-outs to advantage from 40 hit-outs, which is seriously shit conversion. It's not even, it's less than a quarter of the number of hit-outs that he had in total. Finbar Malley actually had a better hit-out to advantage rate from 11 hit-outs. So, yeah, quite telling there. G'day, Dan. How are you, mate? So, Rochelle, my glorious pod. Never in doubt to bounce back. Hope you're going well, Damo. Likewise to you, mates. Good to see you, and jump into the Discord when you get a chance as well. It's always good to converse with you. And for those people tuning in who may not be familiar with Dan, he finished. Let us know where you finished in the end in 2025, Dan, because I know you're a big Swans man, and we traded in Grundy at the same time late last season, and we were riding the Grundy train, loving it. And I know you were in contention, and you rose the ranks quite quickly. So I can't recall where you finished exactly, but it was up near the top end, mate. So you seriously know your SuperCoach, and love to have your intelligence and SuperCoach nous in the Discord. So make sure to jump back into that, mate. And for anyone else who has yet to join the Discord, you can do so. Just have a look at the description on here on YouTube, and you will see that that code there. I actually might copy it and we'll paste it in the chat here. So all you need to do is click on this. Actually, if it lets me, I don't think it's going to let me. Let me just copy and paste this. Is it going to let me? I'm trying to copy it from a different browser. No, it's not going to let me. What a piece of shit. Hold on 1 second. I'll need to edit and grab the link. But yeah, feel free to jump into this Discord. It is a little community which has been thriving more so than previous seasons. You know, any comments, questions, I mean, it's not just Liam and myself or anyone else in there, you know, in terms of just regular Joes, if you want to call them that, being able to help others. And we have quite a number of knowledgeable people in the Discord, which I'm absolutely stoked about because they even give me some advice as well. And, you know, great to bounce ideas off, but, you know, trade discussion, we have captains and VC chats, we have, you know, rate my teams, all that sort of stuff. So click on the link in the chat there, and it will direct you through to our Discord, which is, of course, free to join. And just jumping through the comments here, Dan addressing my question, finished 33rd in the end, was top 20 going into the last round, but sputtered it up at the end. It was amazing running the Grundy train with you and the Discord, mate. You did very, very well. That's incredible. And hopefully you can match that and, in fact, go even better with 32 spots higher than that, mate. You'd be absolutely wrapped. But you should be wrapped with that because that's a great, great performance. Mate, the great, how are you, mate? Will Bond keep his spot? I am not too sure, mate. I'm not too familiar with him, I will admit. Might be worth trolling. What I tend to do as well is big footy. I mean, it's a cesspool for absolute footy nuffies, but I usually go on the team sub forums and just check out like their best 23 threads that they normally put up. And of course, the most knowledgeable people on specific teams are their own supporters. So usually go on to that and gives you sort of an idea of whether or not they think that, you know, particular players will keep their spots and whatnot. But yeah, it scored well tonight. And good old James, we'll call him, 007. It'd be great if he sticks around on the team because it gives us another cash cow potentially that we could be trading down to. I mean, he'd be on the bubble after next week if he keeps his spot. So, you know, for those players that played an opening round, it means that what we get like 3 price rises out of them. So it might be a shot of maybe switching out an opening round rookie and trading them to a 007, maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. G'day, Mike. ZZ Top dropped so easy to trade to X. Yep, and it's something I flagged with ZZ Top for those people that were jumping on him in their starting teams. And the reason why I didn't start with him is because first and foremost, I needed a non-playing player to help me lock in Bond's VC 160 score. But I was conscious that it would have been much of a muchness because ZZ Top would be getting dropped more than likely when the likes of Charlie Gardner, when I forget his first name, Gardner comes back into the Lions defense, especially because ZZ Top was playing in defense last week. And with Draper there as the number 1 ruck, as well as Darcy Fort, they don't need him in the ruck for any assistance there. So kind of makes a bit more sense. But yeah, you must have a fair bit of coin. But I mean, from Petrarca and Rosie, makes sense to go from ZZ Top to the X-Man, the sweet red hot cherry pie. Punter Oz, g'day, or should I say good evening. Lol, I traded in Stewart and Holmes. So glad I went for my gut. Mate, you're not the only one because there was this man right here, unless you are one of the same people, the Asian SuperCoacher. He went for Holmes and Stewart as well. So you would be absolutely wrapped alongside the Sam Pang, we'll call him. Was it Kalanged? Traded in Holmes tonight for Rosie, had to go into damage control already to fix other things, i.e. TDK to Cherry and Track to Cook. Have 900k in the bank. Who should I be targeting next week? I think for me, what I'm looking to do is I was considering bringing Houston into my team this week, but I want to have that extra week just to be sure that Houston has a role that's going to continue from here on out, which I think it will, but I'm willing to pay the extra 40k, whatever it is that he's going to go up in price, provided he scores around about 115, 120 plus. And I'm going to be using my cash towards him and more than likely trading out someone like Blackiston I've already traded out, but Fonty's probably a little bit too early to trade him out to Houston because Fonty's going into his buy, so I mean it would work well, but I'd be probably trading out another rookie, like maybe a Michael Selwood to Houston. It's not a massive jump. It's not as if you're going to like a 600K primo. It'd be an extra, I think 300K or 400K or something, but it allows us to go to, a player that I think might be a bit of a smoky for the top six in defense. But outside of him, we might pull up actually if we can do it, our super coach, and we'll just go through those players that you can eye off. I mean, Wangan Miller is another player. It dropped around about 30 to 40K. I think it was mid 30K in price, and may drop in price again. He's kind of someone that I'm a little bit worried about because he's getting tagged by some degree or given some attention most weeks now. So I don't think he's a must-have first up, but he's someone that is a fallen primo that you should be targeting. I think Whitfield's another one as well. He had a relatively quiet week, dropped 34.1K. He's now priced at 565.1K with a break even of 160. So guys of that ilk, I think in defense, there's quite a number of players that you could be going on. Whitfield, I think, is definitely a top six candidate. You've got Wangan and Miller. So there's a number of guys there that you could definitely jump on. But we might, if we can, pull that up on screen. Let me just remove this and see how we go. I'll take a swig whilst I'm doing this. Wet the whistle. And it's not my urine. It's not Bear Grylls style. It is a Mountain Dew. Bit of a guilty pleasure here. Don't have it all the time because it's filled with like 100% sugar, but it's always a treat. Bear Grylls, I'm drinking my own piss. Where are we? Window. Hopefully this works. This works. Alrighty. So that Whitfield's one of those. So he's projected to drop around about 27.1K if he scores 99. So if he just falls short of the 100, he will drop another 27.1K. If you're getting him sub 550, geez, I will be actually prioritizing him if that's the case. I mean, there may be some query and worry about Lockie Ash, but they proved last year that they were able to coexist. So I think it might be just matchup based, but I was surprised that he didn't score better than 96 against the Saints because traditionally they give up points to opposing defenders, running defenders at that. So yeah, interesting. We'll continue on. Jonas Stewart kills Adelaide every time. Nick's even talked about minutes before the game started. Let him off free. No wonder Adelaide fans want him sacked. I'll never get that, why coaches do that. So dumb. Michael West Coast Eagles. Unfortunately, with Lindsay, he's trying for the same spot as Bo Allen. There you go. There's a bit of insight here from the supporters, like I mentioned, and Bo is playing well. Then it's Baker, Duggan, and Hoff. So until an injury or Allen sputting it up, he will be on the sidelines. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, isn't it? But by the same token, I think West Coast, I don't know, it's hard because a lot of their, if you want to call it talent, but senior talent is kind of centralized in the defense. Duggan, like you mentioned there, Baker, Hoff, who's still relatively young, but Bo Allen is, someone that was taken, top 20 in the draft, and I think got 6 games last season, but really highly rated and, playing well, as you mentioned there. So who knows? I mean, Lindsay, there's always opportunities for players to coexist and, play the same role in the same team. But it comes down to balance and structure and everything else. But, do they push Lindsay up to potentially the wing? Do they do that? I don't know. But, we'll just have to wait and see, I think. And I think he's going to be a decent cash cow, personally, just an inkling. So I'm not too fussed to keep him. Rook, how are you, mates? My risky trade-ins, 2 out of 3 have done the job so far. Now, I imagine you went for Holmes, Rook, because I know you're keen on him and you're a Cats man as well. So I assume you've gone for Stewart, being the 2 out of the 3, unless it was Worrell. If you've gone for Worrell, that's a great get. Worrell and Holmes. Let us know who you've gone for, Rook. TTSC have been trying to decide if I should bring in Watkins or Houston this week, but Brody being named makes me think I can fade Watkins. I've seen people say that, but Brodie is coming into the team at a disadvantage. I mean, Watkins has been in the team for 2 games so far, and he's actually looked okay like the previous game against the Dons. Had more CBAs, looked good with that extra opportunity. And Will Brodie is a guy who, as we know, is in and out of the team. He's done it across his 2 previous teams at Freo and the Suns. And what's to say that it won't happen again at Port? I mean, he can find the footy, but his disposal lets him down. It's like Dev Robertson a bit. Hence the reason why the Lions weren't really quick to play Dev Robertson. So yeah, with Brodie, I'm personally not scared at all. And I reckon they kind of bring 2 different skill sets to the table. I think Watkins can play more inside and Brodie's kind of more outside or a bit of a hybrid. So, and who knows, like, I think Brodie at stages has played sort of off half forward as well. But yeah, it wouldn't be nice to see Brodie come in, get rotations through the middle, and then Watkins gets shafted and pushed to the forward line. So yeah, that's probably the only thing I'm worried about. I think they'll both get a game, but I'm worried about maybe the role more than anything. That there is the Discord link. So if you haven't seen it, click on that link or copy and paste into your browser from the live chat. Leroy Brown, S6Q. Do I just chuck the C on Cherry? I think you put the VC on Cherry at the very least. I imagine you've probably got a loophole or you've got players on the buy you could use as a loophole. So, yeah, it's something that I think is, potential of, sorry, I've just got a notification. 1 sec, ladies and gents, because the little monitor for my son has stopped, which gives us notifications whether or not we have any issues with my wife's. I've just got the little baby monitor here. So yeah, his sock, which is the little monitor which monitors his heart rate and oxygenation in his bloodstream. We have it because of the fact that he was on. Okay. Yeah, 1 second, ladies and gents. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. So send through your comments and questions, and I'll be back in a quick tick. Whew, we are back. Sincere apologies, ladies and gents. This is the life of a SuperCoach dad. And yeah, it's good fortune of my wife being an absolute legend, because she thought I was just recording and she didn't realize I was live. So I was going to go help her out because he's done a crap, which when he's a little bit older and watches back this random stream that his dad's put together, you can hear me talking about him doing a crap. And she said, go back to the live stream. So everyone else, you can thank my wife, Ash. So make sure you do just that. But yeah, where were we? So chucking the C on Cherry, I think you can do that. But yeah, at least try and put the VC on him, because if he gets injured, knock on wood, or anything else, you'd hate to be in the same position as everyone else that's put the C on him. So I'd personally put the VC on him and then put the C on, of course, a non-playing player for loophole purposes. Let's catch up to some comments now. Jonas, Josh, I'm playing you this week in the league, the real rookie. So best of luck to both of you lads. Mate, the great. I went Edwards over ZZ. but not happy with Edwards scoring. Thinking of doing him Reeves and playing McAndrew R3 doesn't seem like a must on field. Any more thoughts? Yeah, like I spoke of from the top, I'm not too worried about McAndrew going to R3 now. I think, and it was kind of my reasoning as well with the, if you tune into my Damo's team talk, it was a big reason as to why I was confident to have Cherry as my flex with Jacko and English at R1 and R1 and R2, because it looked as though from the first couple of games, or 3 games anyway, that now 3 games now, that he hasn't really doesn't have that ceiling to his game as a pure ruck. So yeah, not too phased in retrospect now. So definitely executing that trade. And Reeves, yeah, he's definitely one of those. I'm kind of worried about the fact that he's handling or sharing the ruck with the other big boy from the Hawks. So in Meek. So yeah, I mean, he's low enough price point where you could jump on him, and he's got a couple of decent scores under his belt. But yeah, ZZ's probably, Edwards, as you said, you've gone for. He's going to be a bit of a rough ride, I think, if you're an owner of his, and you can't really rely on him to be a decent scoring cash cow, or scoring enough to generate enough money over the stretch of the season. Who knows? He actually might just get dropped here and there, knowing Chris Scott and the shenanigans that he goes on with. G'day, DJ Big Tom. What a week in SuperCoach. I thought Track, Rosie, and Sharp were my problems. Now I also have ZZ and Marshall concerns. Crazy times, but I think I secretly love it deep down. Oh, so do I, mate. So do I. It means that, so often as we see across pre-seasons of recent times, that there's enough information and data out there for people to construct their teams to a point where there's no secrets out there, and you start the year with a majority of people having the same teams, bar a handful of players. And when you have a bit of craziness, a bit of injuries early, it throws the cat amongst the pigeons very, very soon, and it forces people to make up their own minds and deviate. But and that kind of doesn't happen until sort of mid-year, where after a certain number of trades, there's differentiation across people's teams. But I think this is happening now a bit sooner. Mind you, a lot of people are going for Cherry. But outside of that, I mean, there's Rosie and Track. Sharp, you could sort of sideways to another cash cow. But Track and Rosie, 2 primos, it means that you're going for a Cherry. But then who else are you going for? It still differentiates the rest of the competition, I think. So absolutely love it. But yeah, ZZ, I don't own him, thankfully. But yeah, Marshall, concern. And I probably should mention as well, the one change that I made to my team, which I had to make off the back of Marshall not playing, was I had Kalani White, Jeff White's son, the ruck forward, non-playing player. He's got glandular fever. In getting Cherry into the flex, I had to switch Kalani White into the forward line on the bench. And with Marshall not playing, it meant I was virtually a player down. So I ended up trading him. He was 99K rookie, and traded him to, Braden Cook with the 81st up, which I'm absolutely stoked with, and brought Sharp back into my team, which, I mean, I don't necessarily want to keep, and I don't necessarily want to get rid of Sharp. So he's kind of in no man's land at the moment. His time on ground is poor. That's the one thing that is really irking me, and it has since we've seen, what Chris Scott has done with Elijah Sarter. So yeah, it's a bit of a shit, and it is very, very annoying. But hopefully, fingers crossed, he can turn things around, and Brad Scott can get a whack over the back of the head and be like, mate, you're going to be sacked eventually anyway. Just play the kids. Stop stuffing around and stop offering like $10 million per season to a bloke in Merritt who doesn't want to be there. Just hilarious operations there at the Dons. Should I trade ZZ or Sharp to Cherry? Yes, I would. 100%, mate. In terms of who you trade, it would probably be ZZ. I just think it's going to be finding it hard to get back into the Brisbane team. It's the 2-time premier, and when they're at full strength, he doesn't fit into their team, unfortunately. As talented as he is, looks like a really nice youngster. I can't see him in their best 23. Sharp, however, he's going to get an opportunity with the Dons. They are struggling. They need to play as many youngsters as they can. It comes down to scoring for Sharp more than anything. So I'd probably opt to keep him. And at the moment as well, he's actually on track to get mid-forward DPP by round 6. So that's the other sort of reason why I'm happy to keep him personally. And that's the other thing I'd probably endorse with Sharp. But it's up to you. I mean, Sharp is more expensive than ZZ Top, is he not? So, yeah, he's around about, 30K more. So if that 30K helps you in any way, shape, or form, like in a major sense, then yeah, maybe trade Sharp. But I'd trade the bloke who's not playing and will find it hard to get back into the team in ZZ. Jonas, West Coast took Bo Allen instead of Murphy Reed, so they must trade him. West Coast have made some blunders, and they did with my mob in Carlton, as we know, with Jagger Smith, and I could not believe they traded pick 3. It was craziness. Poor West Coast. Rook, haha, you are Jonas. And yep, Holmes and, well, there you go. Yep, Holmes and Ross. I guessed that correctly as his trade-ins. Rookie, how come you never joined Damo's Discord? He is in there, yeah, bloody. You're trying to start shit, bloody Jonas, mate. Where are you? Kalanged. By the way, Damo, this is Nick, aka Swannies from Supercoach Edge Cash Leagues. My posts are coming under my partner's nickname, and I didn't realize until I sent my previous message. Is it Nick? Is in Nicole? Is that right? Is it Nicole from the Ferris X? G'day, Nick. How are you? Hope you're well. There you go. Yeah, you must be signed into your partner's YouTube and just haven't realized. But thanks for joining us, Nick. Hope you're well, and hope your team is all set for the coming round and for the Cash League, of course, as well. Dan, big ups indeed. Absolutely. I'll pass that on. Rook, just need my third trade in of Houston to do now. I'll do well now. The Asian Supercoach, you're going to the Carlton game Sunday, Damo. Are the Blues a chance? Your thoughts on the ins for Carlton, any Supercoach relevance players to keep an eye on? Well, first and foremost, yes, I am. I'm pretty much certain that I'm going to go. I've got my wife's cousin's wedding on the Saturday, but we always go. We butter up. It's going to be a messy one probably on the Saturday, but we'll butter up and we'll go there on Sunday, despite the fact that I think Carlton actually might get done. That is the state that the team is in at the moment, and I have zero confidence in Michael Voss as coach. And if you've tuned into my Blue Baggers Edge channel, you would have heard me say that ad nauseum. He cannot coach. And 2026 is a year where teams have adapted a more run and carry game style, which is the polar opposite to what Michael Voss is trying to do, where he's trying to just win the contest and anything else outside of that is irrelevant. It just doesn't work. So, yeah, I think we'll probably get done, in all honesty, but we usually play well against Melbourne. So that might go in our favour. Yeah, we'll just wait and see. Thoughts for the ins? Well, finally, Taylor Burns, so the youngster, he's a small forward for those people who don't know, and he's an absolute, like we've had a number of small forwards across the journey grace the field for Carlton. And they've, even Motlop's been, I'm not a fan of Motlop, but since Eddie Betts, I mean, he's been our only decent small forward for probably the past decade and a bit. But Taylor Byrne, what he brings and what you'll see, he is super skillful, not just in, his goal kicking, but his field kicking. He is deadly accurate. And one thing I love about him is he is one of the hardest blokes you'll see for his size and for his youth. Far out. He tackles with venom, and I absolutely love it. So really keen to see him, and I think he actually might stick around the team. So he's probably one Supercoach relevant player to keep an eye on up forward. I don't know if he's going to be scoring well enough, but as I said, with tackling, that might just bump up his average and an opportunity there for him to score well enough from week to week. So super keen on him. In terms of other ins, let me have a look because, in all honesty, kind of zoned out. I've been working late today, doing an edit for a client. So let me just have a quick squeeze. Outside of Taylor Byrne, I don't know who else is in. Let's have a squeeze because I need to be doing content for Blue Baggers Edge, my sister channel as well, which go and check it out if you haven't already. If you are interested in that, if you're a baggers man or woman, the ins and outs. So Cooper Lord's out with illness, which hurts. Frankie Boy Evans is in, which is fair enough. I don't know how Lockie Fogarty is an instant out. So that if he plays, and I said it last week, if he plays, my word, sack Michael Voss on the spot. He's got favourites with players, and it shits me up the wall and doesn't make players accountable. Jordan Boyd makes sense, and Blake Acres makes sense as well. I think Jordan Boyd should have played last week, and Blake Acres probably needed a little bit of run and carry along the wing. Chester didn't play all that well. So anyway, that's I don't want to derail things with the Carlton chat, but those are my thoughts. Let's move on. But yeah, I mean, Asian Supercoach, if you want any extra insight on Carlton, go and check out my sister channel, as I said, Blue Baggers Edge, which I'll pop up on screen in a moment. Dan, Essendon's in a bad spot when a Carlton fan is saying, geez, that club is a shambles. And I say that and I can say that because as a Carlton man, Carlton is a shambles at the moment. They are absolutely a shambles. And Essendon's the rung below Carlton, which I didn't think was possible. Brad Scott and Michael Voss, they have the exact same tactical nous and game plan. I reckon that they're sharing like the same book. Like, here you go, mate. Here you go. It's game day. Here you go. Take the book and give it back to me after you're done. It's just ridiculous. The Colonel, 96, was going sharp to Watkins, but now worried about Watkins' job security. I do have 500k in the bank, but don't really like any midfielders available this week. Would you hold sharp? Well, that is exactly what I'm doing, mate. I'm holding sharp for the time being. His break-even is low enough where he should be okay. I mean, break-even at 15. Got to be mindful as well. 14 last week because he got injured. Yes, I know his time on ground has been shit, but he should score better than that. I think 57, if he can reach that mark, I think he will be okay. And I think he'll be able to reset his cash gen. I mean, as we know, all they need is one spike game and they'll reset their cash generation and go from there. Nick, thank you for joining us. Appreciate your support as always. DJ Big Tom, you have just solved my ZZ versus Sharp trading problem. Like you, I have White in my R3 position. I'm going to sell White, move ZZ to R3, and keep Sharp instead of selling him, which was my plan. Thanks. No worries, mate. It was kind of like a last-minute thing. I was like, well, I want to get Cook in my team, and I needed to get Cook into my forward line, and the only way that I was able to do it was by trading White. He was my only option, unless I went early on trading on a Philippou, which wouldn't have worked because he's playing. Would have been kind of shooting myself in the foot there with a warm body playing, even though he hasn't been in the best form. And Buderick, I think, has a bit more money to make. So it would have been premature to trade him out at this stage. So, hopefully that helps you, mates. And let's ride the good old Sharpie home because he's a great player. I'm a big fan of Sharp. Rookie coach, what name do you use in there? Talking about the Discord, of course. Join that Discord. Let's see if anyone has joined the Discord, actually. We don't have any people joining the Discord. What are you doing? We're going to assume that everyone in the chat has joined the Discord already. And if not, get in there. I'll post the link again. Your midfield should be too strong for Melbourne. Just need to tag Pickett. Yeah. Thing is with Pickett, he tears us up every single year. Let's just have a look at him. Everyone was thanking you in the chat. Everyone's thanking you in the chat. Sorry, just handing over the baby monitor to my wife. Mentioned that you gave her a tip of the old cap for subbing in for me, allowing me to come back to the stream. Yeah, but Pickett, he absolutely smashes Carlton. He's like the one player who kills us every single time. And I think last time he might have kicked about 4 goals. It may have been the recent encounter. Where is it? Was it round 19, 2025, of course. Gotta go back in time. Round, where are we? 5 goals, is that it? Yep, 5 goals he kicked last time. 5 goals, 2, and almost won the game off his own boot. Played through the middle, did it all, played up forward. So, yeah, again, you would think, Colonel, you would think that Michael Voss looks back, and I'm not going to blame his assistant coaches like I did last year because he's got a whole suite of new assistant coaches. If they don't put time and effort into tagging Pickett, my word, Carlton will lose because that's exactly the issue they had against Sydney. Heaney, Goulden, Warner, 3 guys who've killed us in the last 3 games they've played us, didn't put any time and effort into them. It's like, it annoys me because an under 12s coach at suburban local league level would be able to identify, okay, well, that's the opposition's best player. Let's put time and effort into them because they almost won the game off their own bit last time, which, speaking of Heaney, he did it last time, and so did Warner and Goulden. Mick, I think Melbourne will get up for Gawn's 250. May just do that. Dan, how are you, mates? I am very well. Hope you're likewise, mate. Damo, we go well against Melbourne when they kick lots of points. Yeah, exactly right. Shane Barker, how are you, mates? Which is, I won't reveal. He's a frequenter on Big Footy. Good old Shane Barker. I went Track, Rosie, and Sharp to Houston, Holmes, and Cook. Love that, mate. Very good. Well, Cook, 1 out of 3, or 2 out of 3 already. Holmesy and Cook have cooked up a storm for you. And Houston, I'm a big fan of. Houston. Yeah. Is there an echo in here? Or is it just you, Jonas? Mickey, is Walsh getting tagged? I don't think so. I will actually no, because they do have Tholstrup now. So maybe. Actually, yes, he probably will, because Tholstrup has done a couple of jobs now on Butters, and who was the other player that he played on? Wangan and Miller, I think it was, wasn't it? So, yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me if he actually goes to Jagger Smith. Sounds silly to say, but he's our best outside runner. So, interesting. There it is again. That is the link to our Discord, and we do have some people coming through to the Discord. We have DJ Big Tom. Thank you, DJ, for joining the Discord, mate, and happy to have you aboard. Again, join it. It's free to join. It's literally like Twitter. It's like Big Footy. It's an online discussion forum, different rooms chatting about like trades, captains, game day advice, injury chat, all that sort of stuff. So jump on in. The Colonel, I think I want to play 3 rucks, and the only way I can do that is if I get CDT at utility this week. Hopefully he has a decent first season. Yes, the Duff Man. Yeah, like I said in the in this week's episode of SuperCoach Edge, that I think he's going to, like, his first 2 games kind of are an indication of what I think he's going to score like. He's going to have massive deviation in his scoring, which means that he's going to be a very slow burn cash cow, I think. Like you'll see here. I mean, he's playing Port Adelaide because he's not really getting much time in the ruck, like 37 and 100. Like, that's massive deviation in his scoring. He only scored well last week against the North because he got 2 crucial goals, which put West Coast back in the running. They were about 17 points down, got them back in the game. And then also, I think he kicked the goal, which got them in the lead as well. So bulk, scaling points there. So he's going to have those games there where he's relatively quiet. Of course, he's playing in the West Coast forward line. It's just naturally going to happen. But he's only averaging like 20%, if that, 15 to 20% ruck time. So, yeah, he won't be getting many points out of that avenue anyway. We worried about Walsh copying intention. Yep, we just spoke about that. The Colonel 96, do we have a Cyclone update for Perth Freo game? Very good point, mate. Let me have a quick squeeze. And we will see. What's the Cyclone called again? What was it? We'll just say Perth Cyclone. They always have funny names like fucking Barry or Narelle. Gee whiz. She's a nasty one. Narelle. Tropical Cyclone map. Let's see where it's tracking. Where's it, Christian? Christian for tracking. Okay, let me just change the screen. Sorry, I've just bloody infiltrated your screen now. There we go. So, will it reach Perth? This was updated as of, geez, how's this? We're bloody like Jane Bunn now. We're talking about the weather. It's saying that it's going to be a category 2. So it's category 4 at the moment, which is pretty intense. A few kilometers off the coast of WA, and then it's going to touch the coastal line when it gets down to category 2. So, what are they saying here? Official warnings. So how far away is it? 5,500 kilometers. It's travel by the time it approaches Perth, yes, but okay, that's it. Oh, this page will be updated as the story develops. So it says, wanted wind gusts up to 275 kilometres an hour in Exmouth later on Thursday, while the cyclone is forecast to make landfall, there you go, as a Category 3. So I was right. Look at that. Oh, no, I was wrong because I said Category 2. As a Category 3 system over the tourism town of Denham in Shark Bay. Yeah, so we'll have to just wait and see day by day, really. But at least it sounds like it's not going to be as bad, so we might get through it. And we might have a game. Thank you, DJ Big Tom. I appreciate your kind words, mate, and for your hospitality in joining the Discord. Need as many people as we can get in there just to keep things ticking along. As I said, it's been probably the most active it's been this season compared to previous ones. We've got around about 300 odd people in the Discord, so it is slowly growing. Weather saying no rain on midday with wind gusts up to 50 kilometers. Jeez. There you go. Okay. Looks to be going over the northern, but Perth could see 60 to 100 mil. Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, the rain side of things is going to play havoc, which probably bodes well for the ruck side of things. So I think, say, a Luke Jackson, who's sort of taken the he's got like 60% ruck time. He's going to benefit, I think, in that game. Where else are we? Most rain is forecasted Friday. There you go. Okay. Yeah, but it's still one to monitor, of course. But, I mean, I wouldn't be worrying too much. If it's called off, I wonder what they'd do. They'd probably have to refixture it like they did the Essendon Gold Coast game last year. Surely. But that's it. I think we've caught up to the comments, have we not? So let me take a swig of the old Bear Grylls. Watch now as I'm going to drink my own piss. It's got a tangy flavour to it. Terrible impersonation. Let's bring up, where are we? So let's bring up the games coming up. Where are we? I've lost it. I've bloody well lost it. I have lost it. Okay, that should share it. I just want to go through the next few games. So Collingwood and Giants, and I'm conscious as well. What's the amount of time that we've been streaming for? 53 minutes. We might go for another 10 minutes, ladies and gents, and we will call it a night. Well, there you go. Very astute and great timing of you there, Mick. Don't you East Coasters sleep, mate? As a father of a 10-month-old, sleep. What the hell is that? But no, I must say he's actually a really good sleeper. He sleeps normally from like 6:30 until around about 8 o'clock, and maybe wakes up a couple of times during the night. So yeah, we're very blessed with our young man, good old Felix, young man. But otherwise, I'm a night owl. I've always been a night owl, which is probably not a good thing. But I hate early mornings. Love late nights. Just in your own element, and you just get stuff done, really. So I'll be doing my record of the I'm the Captain Now after this, and cutting it together, and then we'll be putting it up for tomorrow morning. So yeah, then I'm heading to bed. That's for sure. Sorry, I've missed a comment there. The Colonel, miserable Freo fans love miserable weather. Are you a West Coast man, Colonel? By the sounds of that, bit of rivalry. Jonas, rookie coach has accessories. You mean props, mate? What do you have? What do I have? I've got a few props here. One of which is still on my desk. The enemy in Charlie Curnow. That's him playing for Sydney at the moment. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I mark the ball? How do I kick goals? That's Charlie Curnow. Just the usual form that he's in, which is not good form. What else do I have in terms of props? We have which is something, if any Collingwood supporters are tuning in, there's a memento here. And it seems strange that I have a 1990 Premiership port of Collingwood. But this is from my father-in-law, who gave it to me to try and sell. And I've been trying to sell this on eBay, on Facebook. Actually, Facebook Marketplace doesn't allow me to do it because you're not allowed to technically sell alcohol because it is full. You'll see that. Very dusty, but it's fresh. Hasn't been opened. Old school port. Now, I don't know if it's really able to be drunk because I don't know if it ages like wine or if it just goes off and spoils. But if any Collingwood supporters are tuning in and you want a memento, you have the full team there. Has a day cost on there, no doubt. There he is. He's sitting next to Lee Matthews. You probably can't see that because it's so small. He's got the footy though. Actually, no, he doesn't have the footy. That's a player's head in front of him. Yeah, so any Collingwood supporters keen on that, hit me up and I'll sell it to you for a very decent price as a memento. Nice little, memento and merchandise really for a Pies fan. Otherwise, I'll just piff it out. I have many a prop, mate. I work in production, so I've got many props around. I'll have to source some for you, and we can have a bit of a dress up if you want. Carl Meany, how are you, mate? Carl, how must have is Watkins if you have already grabbed Cool, aka Cook, I imagine, this round? I would wait and see, obviously, to make sure that he's actually named in the full team and not just because he's obviously the extended bench at the moment. But I do think he will play. I'm a little bit worried that he might be pushed to sort of the half forward line, rotating through the middle with Brody, because Brody doesn't really have any other assets. He can't play anywhere else. He plays in the middle and that's it. And that's part of the reason why he's been kind of shipped around from team to team. He's very one-dimensional. But I think he probably still is a worthy get as a cash cow. I'm backing him in. If he plays, I'm backing in Watkins because I've got all the other rookies. And aside from Dersma, maybe you could pivot if you got money in the bank. You could pivot from a Watkins to a Dersma, but bottom price 99k rookie does not need to average much in order to make bulk cash compared to Dersma, who's double the price, who needs to virtually average double the score to make the same cash as what Watkins would. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Can either grab Cherry or Watkins and hold over cash for next week, or grab Cherry and Houston? Oh, it's up to you, mate. I think you could go either option, or you could go both. You could go Cherry and Watkins and then pay 40k extra for Houston next week, with the benefit of seeing Houston for an extra week, just making sure that he has that role and scores well enough. Or you could potentially go for Cherry and Houston and go for Watkins and be prepared to pay, 50 or 60k more, roughly, depending on how Watkins scores. But yeah, it might be better to go for Cherry and Watkins, but you're going to be hurt more in terms of on-field score compared to Cherry and Houston. You'd wager Houston should score more than Watkins. So kind of weigh things up there. Jonas, big SuperCoach game Friday night for me. Dacos, Houston, Cogs, Fonte, all in action. You got Cogs. You're a brave man. I have Fonte and Ledecos. Houston, I'm keen on, and I'll be watching him very, very closely. Mick, I barely remember young kids. My youngest is 30. Gee whiz. How old are you in that case, Mick, if you don't mind me asking? You must be an elder statesman, to put it nicely. Next, we have Matt. Got Cook on bench emergency with his 80. Should I take his score and bench Blamires or Watts? Who's Watts? Excuse me, because I am very tired. But who is Watts? Or do you mean Watkins? Sorry, you probably mean. I'd be taking his score and benching Watkins. I'd be playing Blamires, who is averaging a 74.5 compared to Watkins' 59.5. And Watkins has only had the one decent game, whereas Blamires has had a 70 and a 79. So I'll be playing Blamires every single week. So yeah, I'd be benching Watkins and taking Cook's score of 80 because I think it's going to be hard for Watkins to level that. I mean, he hasn't reached an 80 yet. He did close last week with a 74, but yeah, I think you take that from a rookie, 100%. Carl, do you think Whitfield could give his break even of 160 and nudge this week versus my mob? Uh, Defenders dying out on us, and I prefer Whitfield to Houston. Well, it depends, mate. Like, because you could potentially wait a week. Like I was saying earlier, you could wait a week and go wait a week and get Whitfield cheaper. Like, yes, he's got the 160 break even, but even if he scores a 99, he'd still go down 27.1k. Previous scores against the Pies. He has scored 111, 108, 99, 103, 85, 119, 115, 96, 53, 95, dating all the way back to 2015. So he's got some high scores in there, but nothing really major to worry about. So I reckon you could probably wait another week, in all honesty, and get him for cheaper, and then plays Richmond. So, yeah, it's up to you, mate. Up to you. But if you prefer Whitfield to Houston, and going for Houston means that you can't go for Whitfield over the next few weeks, yeah, it's probably a decision to be made there. G'day, mate, the greats. I could either get Cook or Watkins this week. Went with Cook. Watkins should be fine to get next round, probably worth 140k. Yep, exactly right. That was always going to be my plan before Murdoch got injured. I was planning to just, I had to wait a week and go for Watkins being an extra 40 to 50k more expensive. So, yeah, I think Watkins is a decent, provided he doesn't lose his role. That's the one thing there. So, if you're waiting a week on Watkins, it probably is beneficial because it allows you to see with Brody in the team as to whether or not he has a change in role. I don't think he will, because a lot of people forget that Rosie was actually averaging around about 50, 55, 60% CBAs still, despite playing off halfback. So it was rotating through the middle. So I expect at the very least that, if, for example, the CBAs are shared between Brody and Watkins, that means he still gets 30%. So was able to score quite well with around about that mark last week. It might have been a little bit more, but yeah, just going from memory. And that Port is an absolute heirloom, utter disgrace that you don't have that under lock and key with the 24-hour security detail. Oh, you're talking about the... Oh, okay, sorry. I read that incorrectly because I was like, wait, you're calling it utter disgrace, but then it's an heirloom. Well, maybe I should just crack it on air and chug it and see what happens. I wouldn't do that. I've never drunk port in my life, and I probably don't intend to. It's more of an old person's drink, it must be said. But Carl, being a pies man, if you're keen on it, I'm selling it for $50. I tried to sell it for double that and didn't get any interest. Had some people keen for it around about $50, but one guy was like, "Oh, could you post it?" I'm like, "I'm not going to post this. How brittle it is." And then it, with the danger of getting smashed. So I was like, if anyone local is in the area, I'm happy to like drive it to them or come and pick it up. But yeah, this heirloom, it's just sitting there alongside this other heirloom. So I have two enemies now in Charlie and the bottle of port from Collingwood on my desk. Mick 61. Oh, you're 61. There you go. Definitely an elder statesman. Well, you like my father-in-law, round about the mark. So there you go. Jesus, questions? Does he? Is anyone else not worried about cash gen? We got Sherry and LaFell next week. Then we have Farrow, Byrne, Hannaford, Murdoch in a couple of weeks' time. Should be okay. I think we should be fine. There's always rookies that pop up, and there's some that pop up, don't keep their spot, and there are others that are just come from the field that keep their spot. So yeah, it's always one of the spoken about topics year on year, but Yeah, there's nothing really to worry about. You're always going to find rookies coming through the ranks. Um, Whitfield has the bye next week too. Oh, that's very true. That's very true. So you could potentially wait a week and then wait until after his bye, because if you get him this week, you obviously don't have him for his bye. So very good point there, Jonas. I forgot about that. Rook, so run with Butters C or take the safe Holmes VC. Ooh. So what did Holmes end up scoring in the end? Was it 121? I would almost gamble on Butters, personally. 120 is my cutoff. It used to be 125, but I've shifted it to 120. Thing is with Butters as well, you got to remember that he sputtered it up against North, but he was being tagged. And we all saw what he can do against the Dons when he gets free. West Coast, I don't think they'll tag. Something to ponder, something to discuss in our VC and C I'm the Captain Now side episode, which we'll chat about. But yeah, it's up to you, man. It's up to you if you want to roll the dice with the Butters. I wouldn't begrudge you. I guess the saving grace is a majority of people would be going, it's probably those non-Cherry owners would be going for Butters C, unless Cherry spuds it up out of the blue. So you'd be in the same boat, but that's a tough call. Jesus, that's another thing I've been thinking. Is Whitfield really better than Ash, or is this just two outlier games? He has taken most of the kick-ins in the first 3 rounds. Yeah, exactly right. Well, don't know if the baton's been passed as yet. I think it's something that will probably fluctuate in season. Like Whitfield, he's had 18 kick-ins to Lockie Ash's 7. Looking at it last year, it was 128 Whitfield to Lockie Ash 116. So I reckon they'll probably be around about the same mark, but depending on games, they might fluctuate. But I think they can coexist. Like I said earlier, I think really they can score well both in their own right. Carl, tidy work, straighten me out. No worries, mate. And apologies as well, because it sounded as though you were offended about my explanation or my demands of people to just stop stuffing around and start Bont in their starting team. I know, like, you were actually half taking the piss, but there was someone else who actually got offended by me saying that people should be starting Bont no matter whatever his price is, because his champion data's love child, and we know that. And he scores out of his nuss, and even on the bench, he gets scaled points. So you've got to start him. But yeah, it was funny that one guy got really offended. Funny. Jesus, is Whitfield a better option for cheaper come round 5? Yes, he will be cheaper. I don't think he's going to be reaching that 1.6 personally anyway. He could. He's done in the past, but I think Whitfield will be cheaper around about sub 550 mark, which is a great get. Take the Cook 80 VC. Let me just change this up and share my screen to my team. Take the Cook 80 VC and let rookie coaching Kate have a chance of beating me this week. Yeah, nah. Do it, mate. Everyone, like the C that everyone else is going to go for will get injured or going to say sin binned. Yeah. Sam Pang, will the absence of Taylor, I'm going to stop saying that, apologies. The Asian Supercoach, will the absence of Taylor and Buckley hurt Fonty's output? Will he play key position in the absence versus Pies? Very good point there, Asian Supercoacher. We'll just have to wait and see, really. We'll have to wait and see, but potentially. Or at the very least, does he play more of a hybrid role? Yeah. Jesus, Butters C, surely rookie coach AFL. We won't be able to keep up with Cherry Cap. There you go, a fellow non-Cherry owner. That's probably part of it's good reasoning in a sense, because you've got to almost get as much points in the bank via the C compared to what Cherry could potentially notch up. Or maybe you see what X scores, he says, and depending on that, you either take the home C if he scores crap. Oh, there you go. Yeah, a very good point, because you'll have that opportunity to see what he scores, screen the score there, and then work it out from there. Jesus. I mean, he's actually better than Whitfield, by the way. He stuffed it up. I'm a big fan of Whitfield. He is an incredible disposer of the footy. Um, I think his role can fluctuate at times where he's kind of pushed up the ground to his detriment and isn't in defence to have that, like for, link up possession chains coming via kick-ins if he's not taking the kick-in and so on and so forth. So he has in the past as well been thrown around up forward. But yeah, I really rate Whitfield. Ash is doing well to his credit, but big fan of his. The Asian SuperCoach, would you VC Jackson C Cherry or VC Cherry into? Well, I'm in the same boat there, mate. As you can see here with my team, I've currently got VC Jackson into Cherry C, but it's going to be really, really difficult because say Jackson scores like a 150, you'd probably say that Cherry would equal that at minimum. If Cherry scores a 199 or a 200 again, you're losing 50 points. So I'm almost tempted to just notch up whatever Jackson scores being like the bonus and the fact that we just own him and don't worry about putting the VC on him, because I feel as though it might be disadvantage in not having the VC on Cherry and missing out on extra points. Because any benefit you're getting with Jacko having a huge score as an owner compared to those non-owners is kind of offset with Cherry if you don't have him as the VC / captain. So yeah, it's really hard to assess, what's a pass score for Jackson. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, for me, it would have to be a huge score. 150. Even then, I'd be like really uncertain as to whether or not, it's worth locking in, because Cherry could go large. And a lot of people are going to put the VC on Cherry into C Butters. If you're locking in a VC score from Jackson, you're kind of, hoping that you're going to break even with Cherry. Being an owner of Cherry, you hope that he's not going to spud it. But to get that I guess benefit with Jackson as the VC lock-in score, yeah, you definitely obviously want him scoring more than Cherry. And if Cherry for some reason fails, your only shot is the C with Butters, which in terms of pod sake, you're going with the rest of the masses. Everyone else is going to go with C with Butters, which is fair enough. And he probably scores well. So it's probably a safe and smart move. So I think I will probably eventually go. I'll change it so it's Cherry VC. In fact, let's do it right now. Cherry VC into Butters with the C. Because what I like to do normally is I put the VC on the player that I think is going to score the highest out of any player that I've got in my team with the VC. And then if he doesn't score well, then you go with the next best. Whereas if you're going with Jackson, who I think probably in heart of hearts probably doesn't score as well as Cherry, no matter what Jackson scores, again, like I was saying, it's hard to work out what's a lock-in score, because Cherry, again, is my top captaincy pick. And yeah, you're having to gamble on leaving a huge score on the table from Jackson to go for a C with Cherry, which in that case, a lot of people would already have the VC on Cherry. And if Cherry scores poorly, randomly, and you got the C on Cherry, everyone else is deviating from him to Butters. So yeah, I think that kind of is sound reasoning. Put the VC on Cherry into Butters with the C. All right, ladies and gents, I know we've still got 40 people tuning in. We do appreciate all of your company, but we'll have to wrap things up in a short moment because I'm fading fast. I need a sleep, and it's getting awfully late. And I need to punch out this rest of this content. DJ Big Time, I need a defender. I have Sinclair, Whitfield, Fonte, Jace, Jax, whatever you want to call him, Grill, Selwood, and Sarong. I'm looking at either Houston or Zorko this week. I have loads of bank. I'll be getting 2 more primos next week. Personally, I'd be going for Houston. Lower price point, has been a top 6 defender in the past and looks as though he's going to be incredible value. Zorko, meanwhile, yes, he's been solid. Last year, yes, but he's 35, 36 years of age. And with the amount of soft tissue injuries we're seeing in the game at the moment, I think he's a prime candidate to do a calf, which is something that he struggled with and been carrying for a fair while. I don't know if you've seen I think it was the Amazon doco, it might have been. He goes to like an acupuncturist or physio or whatever, and they're like dry needling his calf because his calf's playing up. So Personally, I wouldn't be touching. I'm not touching Zorko, but Houston is someone I'm eyeing off and would be keen on. Jesus, how are you, mate? Or Jesus? Thanks for the stream demo. You are the GOAT. You are the GOAT for joining and gracing us with your presence, mate. The second coming himself. So no, thank you, mate. Appreciate your company. You take a 140 plus C from Jacko. I think Cherry has had concussion issues in his career. I just wouldn't risk that, but I guess other super coaches have different risk profiles. Yeah, exactly right. But again, if if Jacko fails and you're putting the C on Cherry, and then Cherry fails because he's had like concussion or he's had some sort of niggle, everyone else is pivoting from Cherry, who they've got as the VC, to Butters with a C, and then you're falling behind. So yeah, probably a bit of a fail safe in putting the VC on Cherry, personally. But this is coming from a guy who brought in Worrell with a calf niggle, Houston and Holmes. Risk profile is very good by the sounds of that, mate. Anyone watching Memory of a Killer? Top show. No, I have. I've seen some billboards for that, mate. Is it a good show? Because I'd be keen to check it out. Is it the one with Kevin Bacon as well, or someone else? But, ladies and gents, we will end things there. And yes, my wife has texted through saying, you do realize this is a Thursday. I realize it's Thursday and it's Friday night knockoffs, but won't be available tomorrow night in all likelihood because I've got some stuff to do. So, yeah, thought we'd jump on and do things now because I can't afford to have a late one on Friday night because, as I said, we have my wife's cousin's wedding. So hence the reason why we are doing a bit of a quasi, Friday knockoffs on a Thursday. So hopefully that makes sense. But anyway, ladies and gents, we might end things there. And with that, we will thank you once again for joining us on this live stream. And like I just mentioned, we won't be doing a live stream tomorrow night, but appreciate your company nonetheless on a day earlier than what we normally would. And outside of that, ladies and gents, of course, be on the lookout for the last bit of content, which is, of course, the I Am the Captain Now VC and C show, episode, whatever you want to call it. And I'll be putting up my top 5, at least top 3, depending on the strength of the week. And this week, I think there's at least 5 players we can look at. So we will do a little bit of a quick analysis, deep dive into some stats and rip out the best options there for you to choose from. And outside of that, we will be uploading as well our round remix, as we will be doing in separate form. And I know some people were big fans of the round remix in round 1 and round 2. And if you haven't seen them, check them out because they are great tracks. Well, that is it, ladies and gents. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Really appreciate your company. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel as yet, please, I implore you, I beg of you, do so if you do appreciate and like all the comment that we put out. That's all I ask, is really just like the video and give us a subscribe, and that helps push out our content to the YouTube or through the YouTube algorithm to the masses and to other super coaches out there that may not have discovered our channel and content. So really appreciate your support in advance. Likewise as well, join the Discord if you haven't already. It is free to do so. Again, I'll put the link up in the live chat there. Click on that, free to join, little community. We have around about 300 plus people in that. Q&As, trade advice, team reviews, all that sort of stuff. And outside of that, I don't think there's anything else I'm missing. Oh, yes, last thing, Open League. We have 1,075 people joining our Open League. So to join that, if you haven't already, feel free to do so. Again, it's free. 329-568. So 329-568. And jump into that and see how you rank amongst the rest of the SuperCoach Edge community. Well, that is it, ladies and gents. Thank you as always for tuning in. And, last one. You said, Jonas, how do you do the round remix? Like, how much of the lyrics are yours versus AI? You'll never know, Jonas. You'll never know. But no, there's a mix. There's some ideas that I have. And AI doesn't just punch out whatever you want it to do. You know, you have to put in prompts and you have to put in specific keywords and, things that you want referenced. So it's a bit of a mix. It's not all AF algorithm, as we're calling it. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Yeah, a bit of fun. And if it doesn't punch out what I want, then I literally just go and type in lyrics, and then do sort of little bit of producing and remixing there. So that's pretty much it. That is it, ladies and gents. Thank you as always for tuning in. An hour and 20 minutes been going for, so a little bit longer than normal. And until next time, we will catch you coming out of round 3. All the very best for the remainder of the round, and we will catch you in the next one. Cheers.